I've seen players in our league try to toughen up Caitlin. I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of no, we're going to prove her, we're going to show her what the W really is. I'm what are people doing? It's just too much.
Sophie Cunningham, known for her fierce competitiveness and fiery energy on the court, was left completely stunned just moments ago, and not by an opponent. During a live post-game interview, a reporter dropped a jaw-dropping comment that instantly shifted the mood. Cameras caught her reaction as the words hit, and fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Was it an insult, a secret revelation, or something that shook her confidence to the core? Whatever it was, Sophie's silence spoke volumes. And now everyone's scrambling to figure out exactly what went down. The interview that left her speechless. It was supposed to be just another typical post-game press conference. Sophie Cunningham had led her team to a thrilling victory, playing a key role both on offense and defense. Her energy on the court had been electric, her focus razor-sharp, and the win hard-earned. The press room was alive with excitement, cameras flashing, reporters eager to get her thoughts on the game. Everyone expected the usual mix of questions about strategy, performance, and next steps. But then, something unexpected happened. A veteran sports reporter, known for his blunt questions and smirking delivery, leaned forward and asked something that sent a chill through the room. With a subtle grin, he said, "Sophie, do you think your recent success is more about timing and luck than actual talent?" A sharp gasp rippled through the room, loud and unmistakable. It wasn't just what the reporter said. It was how he said it. His tone carried more than words. It hinted at something deeper, something insulting. He wasn't just asking a question. He was questioning Sophie Cunningham's journey, her hard-earned success. Was her rise in the world of basketball nothing more than luck? Was it just good timing? For a heartbeat, everything paused. The crowd held its breath. Sophie, known for her boldness and fierce confidence, stood still. Her expression barely changed, just a slight widening of the eyes, but the silence spoke volumes. In that brief stillness, everyone could feel the tension. Was this man really dismissing years of early mornings, painful injuries, relentless training, and personal sacrifices? Was he truly suggesting that all she had worked for, the grind, the growth, the glory, meant nothing without fortune on her side? The moment was electric, thick with disbelief and anticipation, and as the silence stretched, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a question, it was a challenge. And Sophie, whether shaken or not, was standing in the eye of it. For a moment, time seemed to stop. But Sophie, a true competitor, gathered herself. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't lash out. Instead, she delivered a calm yet razor-sharp response that cut deeper than any outburst ever could. With steady confidence, she replied, "If luck scores points, plays defense, and spends hours grinding in the gym, then yeah, maybe I've been really lucky. But I know exactly who I am, and I know what it took to get here. That's not luck, that's work." The room exploded. Reporters scrambled to tweet her words. Clips of the exchange spread like wildfire on social media. Fans everywhere cheered her clapback, praising her grace under pressure and the truth in her words. Sports analysts dubbed it one of the most powerful moments of the season, not just for what she said, but for what it represented. Because beneath that single question was a larger issue, a reminder that women in sports are still often forced to defend their place, their skill, and their worth in ways that male athletes rarely experience. Sophie's response didn't just shut down one disrespectful question, it echoed in the hearts of countless athletes and fans, resonating as a call for respect, recognition, and fairness. In that brief exchange, Sophie Cunningham reminded the world that what people call luck is often just the face of relentless effort and unshakable belief. How has the consistent hard work Sophie exerted outside the courts transformed her image into a successful basketballer? Let's delve into the details of her struggles from the scratch to her rise in the game. From humble roots to the national stage, Sophie Cunningham's rise to basketball stardom didn't happen overnight, and that's what makes her story so inspiring. She wasn't born into fame, nor did she stumble upon greatness by chance. Sophie's journey began in the heart of Columbia, Missouri, a quiet, tight-knit town where dreams are often big, but the spotlight is rare. From a young age, Sophie stood out, not because she was the tallest or the strongest, but because of the unstoppable fire in her heart every time she picked up a basketball. For Sophie, basketball wasn't just a game. It was the heartbeat of her life, the one thing that lit a fire in her soul. From a very young age, she threw herself into the sport with everything she had. While others played for fun, Sophie trained with fierce determination, chasing a dream that only she could truly see. Her work ethic was unmatched, and it didn't take long for people to notice. By the time she walked into Rockbridge High School, her name was already buzzing. On the court, she was electric, fast, fearless, and full of fire. She didn't just play, she transformed the game. Her energy lifted her teammates, her skills amazed the fans, and her confidence made every game feel like something special was unfolding. People didn't just attend games to support the team, they came to see her. When Sophie laced up her shoes and took her position, it was as if the entire atmosphere shifted. You could feel it. Something thrilling, something magical was about to happen. Sophie wasn't just a player, she was a phenomenon, a living spark that made basketball more exciting, more inspiring, and more unforgettable for everyone who watched. At Rockbridge, she didn't just break records, she rewrote them. Championships followed, victories piled up. But what truly made her high school career legendary wasn't just the number of wins, it was how she played. With heart, with fearlessness, and with a level of focus that made it obvious, she was destined for something bigger. College scouts were no longer just interested, they were scrambling. Everyone wanted Sophie on their roster. She had become a name that echoed far beyond Missouri. And yet, despite the growing attention, she remained grounded. That small-town girl who fell in love with a ball and a dream never changed. What evolved was her game, sharper, smarter, more explosive. Sophie's journey is a reminder that greatness doesn't come gift-wrapped. It's earned, day by day, sweat by sweat, shot by shot. She built her legacy not in the spotlight, but in the quiet hours of discipline when no one was watching. Her story is one of patience, passion, and pure hustle. It's about believing in yourself long before the world takes notice. So, when people talk about Sophie Cunningham today, about her fiery spirit, her court presence, her fearless style, they're seeing the result of years of unseen effort. What they might miss, unless they look closely, is the young girl in Columbia who once dreamed with a basketball in her hands and never stopped chasing that dream. That's the real story, and it's still being written. Sophie definitely did not stop at dreaming to become great, she worked for it. What happened afterwards in the pursuit of her dreams? Let's find out. Building a legacy at Mizzou. When Sophie Cunningham made the bold choice to stay close to home and play for the University of Missouri, no one could have predicted just how much that single decision would shake things up. It wasn't just a matter of signing with a college basketball team. It was the beginning of a powerful story that would forever alter the course of Mizzou's women's basketball program. From the moment she stepped onto the court wearing the black and gold, Sophie brought more than just her skill. She brought fire. She brought fight. And she brought a fearless kind of energy that quickly became impossible to ignore. She didn't simply blend into the team, she stood out and lifted the entire program with her. Game after game, Sophie made people stop and watch. Yes, the stats were there. She racked up points, rebounds, assists, and steals like a seasoned pro. But it wasn't just the numbers that made her special. It was the way she carried herself, the confidence she oozed, the way she would stare down a defender, sink a tough shot, and let the crowd feel every bit of her passion. Sophie played with a swagger that electrified fans and rattled opponents. She didn't just show up to play basketball, she came to dominate and make sure everyone in the building knew her name. But what truly made Sophie stand out wasn't just her athletic ability. It was her voice, her courage to speak up, to lead vocally and emotionally, and to face criticism without flinching. She wasn't afraid to be loud, to call out what needed to change, or to challenge the norms of what a female college athlete should be. That boldness made her a target for some, but it also made her a hero to many others. Whether you loved her or criticized her, one thing was certain: Sophie Cunningham couldn't be ignored. Sophie Cunningham didn't just play basketball at Mizzou, she changed it. With a fire in her heart and an unshakable will to win, she brought a new energy to the court that couldn't be ignored. Her fearless attitude lit a spark in her teammates and forced everyone watching to take notice. Sophie wasn't just another athlete, she was a leader who led by example, diving for loose balls, standing tall in tough moments, and pushing her team beyond their limits. As Mizzou's all-time leading scorer, her numbers were incredible, but what made her truly unforgettable was how she played. With raw passion, relentless hustle, and a deep love for the game. She didn't just chase personal glory. She fought for her team, her school, and every dream she ever believed in. Sophie transformed the Tigers' identity to match her own: bold, unapologetic, and driven. Even after the buzzer sounded on her college career, her legacy stayed behind, woven into the fabric of Mizzou basketball. She became more than a player. She became a symbol of heart, courage, and the power of believing in yourself, no matter how tough the battle. In the world of NCAA women's basketball, where stars rise and fall with every season, Sophie carved out a place that can't be erased. She wasn't just a player. She was a presence, a story, a lightning rod. She stirred emotion everywhere she went, drawing praise and criticism in equal measure, but always earning respect. Today, when people talk about Missouri women's basketball, they talk about Sophie Cunningham. Her name is forever etched into the school's history, not just for the points she scored, but for the fearless spirit she brought. She didn't just play the game, she changed it. At what point did Sophie get welcomed into the WNBA? How was she able to prove herself worthy? Let's dive into the details of the special happening that sparked a remarkable change in the world of women's basketball. Draft night and proving herself in the WNBA. In 2019, something special happened in the world of women's basketball, a moment that marked a fresh chapter in Sophie Cunningham's journey. That year's WNBA draft would go on to change the course of her career. When the Phoenix Mercury picked her 13th overall, many fans and analysts were eager, yet uncertain. Sophie had been a star in college, known for her fire and fearless play, but the professional league was a different world. It was home to living legends, fierce competition, and sky-high expectations. There were whispers and questions everywhere. Would her college energy be enough in a league packed with seasoned pros? Could she hold her own on a team that already had superstars? But true to her nature, Sophie didn't let the noise faze her. Instead, she faced the challenge head-on. From the very first day, Sophie Cunningham showed the world she was not just another name on the roster, she belonged. Whether she started the game or came off the bench, Sophie brought fierce energy and heart every time she hit the court. Once doubted for her defense, she turned that weakness into one of her biggest strengths. Her three-point shot, it became something opponents had to fear. In Phoenix, surrounded by basketball legends like Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner, Sophie didn't just sit back and watch. She soaked it all in and grew. She wasn't content with being a role player. Every practice, every game, she pushed herself to be better. She refused to fade into the background. With grit, passion, and relentless hard work, Sophie shaped herself into a rising star. Someone determined to leave her own mark on the game, not just ride in the shadows of others. Each season saw a new version of Sophie Cunningham. She grew in confidence, in control, and in character. She began to understand the rhythm of the game at the pro level. Her voice on the court grew louder. She wasn't afraid to take the shot when it mattered. She wasn't hesitant to guard the toughest players. The quiet doubts that once followed her started to fade, replaced by respect. Then came 2022, a season that changed everything. This was more than just a breakout year. It was a statement. Sophie didn't just play well, she dominated. She transformed from a role player into a force to be reckoned with. Her name started appearing in headlines. Fans who once barely noticed her began wearing her jersey. Analysts who once questioned her were now singing her praises. And teams across the league were forced to rethink how to guard her. What made it all the more inspiring was how she did it, through grit, patience, and an unshakable belief in her journey. Sophie didn't arrive in the league as a superstar, but she earned every bit of her rise. She proved that heart, hard work, and hunger could shine just as brightly as raw talent. Sophie Cunningham's WNBA story isn't just about basketball. It's about resilience. It's about stepping into big shoes with a bigger dream, falling in line while still standing out, and turning every doubt into fuel for greatness. From overlooked rookie to undeniable game-changer, Sophie's rise has been nothing short of electrifying. And if her journey so far is any indication, the best is still to come. Being the fighter and dream chaser she is, Sophie kept pushing boundaries in the world of women's basketball. Let's delve into the details of how Sophie Cunningham became a brand powerhouse in the sport. Defender to influencer, Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham is riding the wave of newfound fame, and she's turning it into something big. Known for her fearless defense of teammate Caitlin Clark during a heated game earlier this season, Cunningham has become more than just a tough player on the court. She's fast becoming a media personality, brand ambassador, and rising star in the world of women's sports. According to a report by Front Office Sports, Cunningham has signed an exciting new podcast deal with The Volume, a media company founded by sports talk personality Colin Cowherd. Her show, titled Show Me Something, will be co-hosted with West Wilson, one of the stars of Bravo's Summer House. Interestingly, Sophie and West actually go way back. They both attended the same high school in Missouri. Their long-standing friendship is expected to bring a natural, engaging chemistry to the show. The podcast is set to stream weekly and promises a vibrant mix of guests from sports, entertainment, and lifestyle sectors. Each episode will bring fresh conversations, lighthearted moments, and behind-the-scenes perspectives that reflect both Cunningham's bold personality and her growing role as a public figure. This is such an exciting time for women's basketball, and we're really proud to add this show to our growing lineup, said Dane Augard, the Chief Revenue Officer of The Volume. This podcast is all about celebrating women's sports, pop culture, and authentic friendships. Cunningham, 28, gained national attention after a fiery altercation on June 17th, when she stood up to two Connecticut Sun players during a game. Her bold defense of Caitlin Clark didn't just draw headlines, it seemed to spark a career renaissance. Since then, Cunningham has emerged as one of the league's most talked-about players, not just for her game, but for her personality, presence, and unapologetic authenticity. Brands are taking notice. Shortly after the incident, she inked a partnership with home security company Ring. Her promotional video cleverly plays on her role as a protector, showing her guarding her home court using Ring's products. The message was clear. On the court or off, Sophie stands her ground. She's also secured deals with Arby's and Adidas, adding to her growing list of endorsements. These partnerships reflect not only her expanding influence, but also her appeal to a wide demographic, from sports fans to lifestyle followers. Her social media growth has been nothing short of explosive. With over 1 million followers each on TikTok and Instagram,
Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Cunningham has quickly become one of the WNBA's most followed athletes. Her blend of humor, realness, and fire keeps fans coming back for more, and brands lining up to work with her. On the court, Cunningham is making solid contributions in her first season with the Indiana Fever, after spending 6 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury. She's played in 21 games so far, starting in 4 of them, and is averaging 7.5 points and 3.9 rebounds per game. While those numbers may not tell the full story, her impact goes beyond stats. Her energy, leadership, and tenacity have made her a valuable part of the Fever's roster. From basketball battles to business deals and now broadcasting, Sophie Cunningham is proving that she's more than just a role player. She's a rising powerhouse in women's sports, shaping her own path with grit, charisma, and a fierce sense of self. Does Sophie have any influence outside the court or outside basketball? Are there youngsters who look up to her outside her performance in the court? Let's talk about the legacy and influence Sophie has on younger ladies. A new chapter and a lasting legacy. Sophie Cunningham isn't just another name on a WNBA roster. She's becoming the pulse of a movement, the spark of a new era in women's basketball. Today, she stands tall not only as a skilled sharpshooter and fierce competitor, but as a symbol of transformation in the game. Her influence stretches far beyond the baseline. Sophie is helping reshape the narrative, energizing the culture of women's basketball with every move she makes. Across the country, young girls are inspired by her. They pull on jerseys bearing her name, not just because she scores points, but because she embodies passion, grit, and confidence. They don't just want to watch her, they want to be like her. Whether it's the way she dives for loose balls, talks her talk, or smiles after knocking down a clutch three-pointer, Sophie brings something rare. Boldness, wrapped in authenticity. Whenever she enters an arena, there's an immediate shift in energy. Fans lean forward, commentators perk up. There's a hum of anticipation. Not just for basketball, but for a show. She plays with a kind of fire that makes every possession feel personal. Every game feels like a statement. But Sophie's story isn't just about the now, it's about how she got here and the toughness that brought her this far. From her early days on the courts of Columbia, Missouri, where she first caught attention as a high school phenom, to dominating college basketball with the Missouri Tigers, she's always played with a chip on her shoulder. People have questioned her, doubted her, tried to put her in a box, and every time, she's broken out of it with even more intensity. What sets her apart isn't only her ability to hit deep shots or make the highlight reel. It's her ability to get back up again and again. Through injuries, criticism, setbacks, and pressure, Sophie hasn't just endured, she's thrived. Her resilience is her superpower. Every headline you read about her, every viral clip that circulates, every game she takes over, these aren't just moments of fame. They're chapters in a bigger story, a story of persistence, belief, and fearlessness. In the WNBA, where competition is fierce and visibility is still growing, Sophie has found a way to stand out. Not by playing it safe, but by playing with her whole heart. She's loud when she needs to be, quiet when it matters, and always unapologetically herself. She's as much about heart as she is about hustle. And perhaps the most exciting part? She's just getting started. If her past achievements are any indication, the road ahead is bound to be electric. The goals she hasn't reached yet aren't question marks, they're targets. And you can bet she's aiming straight at them. Sophie isn't just building a career, she's crafting a legacy. Not one that quietly fades over time, but one that echoes. Through the arenas, through the next generation of players, and through the ever-evolving story of women's basketball. In every dribble, every shot, every roar of the crowd, her legacy grows louder. Sophie Cunningham isn't waiting for the game to remember her. She's making sure it can't forget. So, what do you think about Sophie Cunningham's achievements that got her praise? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.